40 million renters who have fallen behind on rent payments for obvious reasons are about to face possible eviction. And that is some bullshit. The CDC's National Eviction Moratorium expires in less than 2 weeks on December 31st. Happy New Year. Sure, that program was not the perfect program, but it was something. The national program temporarily protected those who could not pay rent, but it did very little if a landlord refused to renew a tenant's lease. States could and still can enact more robust tenant protections, or they could do the exact right thing and cancel rent. Right now, only about 20 states have an active moratorium. That's down from 43. That was in May. It went down as if people are able to pay their bills more now. Though many states have created rental assistance programs using federal stimulus money, confusing eligibility requirements are kind of getting in the way of those programs' effectiveness. Not only that, but Trump purposely allowed the Rona pandemic to rage unchecked so that he could benefit electorally. Many renters programs have run through their funds. This whole thing was supposed to be over in May. The whole pandemic, it could have been over in May. Human Rights Watch is calling on U.S. lawmakers to provide relief before 40 million people get tossed out of their homes, or at least eviction processes begin. Human Rights Watch is calling on U.S. lawmakers to provide relief such as direct rental assistance with minimal eligibility requirements. Wouldn't that be nice? To make matters worse, the housing crisis is exacerbating long existing racial disparities in housing. You know, the ones the Trump family practiced and built their entire fortune on? Yeah, those disparities. The expiration of the federal eviction ban will disproportionately hurt Black and Latino tenants, causing what is predicted to be years of financial damage to these folks. It's also going to deepen the United States' staggering racial wealth gap. Black and Latino people are twice as likely to rent than white people. So as this wave of evictions hits them, they would be hit the hardest, adding to the unequal toll that the pandemic is already taking on the health and finances of our minority communities. Just as communities of color have seen higher infection and death rates from the virus, they have also been more vulnerable to job and income losses from the ensuing economic crisis that we are living in, that somehow they are still calling a recovery, even though it's still a crisis. Anyway, this happens in large part because the minorities are overrepresented in the service industries wiped out by the shutdowns. But there's action afoot. Here's something you can do right here. Call your senators and representatives and demand they pass a relief package with adequate rental subsidies to protect millions from eviction. Imagine what your town would look like if millions of people across the United States, including your house, your town, got evicted. That is my appeal to any of our Republican and or libertarian don't want to help nobody viewers. I don't know if we have any. You could put your comments down below. But seriously, think of yourself. Do you want homeless families, desperate people running around in your town? That would be a selfish reason to help. The humanitarian reason would be because it's a humanitarian crisis and we care about our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans. That would be the reason there. But regardless of your motives, let's just help these people. Yes? In response to the crisis, mothers, always the ones who respond, mothers from across the country who are at risk of eviction are announcing they will not leave their homes when eviction protections expire. Good on them. They're urging the CDC and the incoming Biden administration to take immediate action by extending and expanding that eviction moratorium and rent and mortgage forgiveness. That's right. Forgiveness. Don't just say, okay, you can stay there and pay it back later. Forgiveness. Yes, we can deep dive into this. Okay, if the landlord has to pay, his mortgage and he can or she can't pay it because she didn't get the rents, isn't that part of owning real estate? I think it is. The suffering always got to be on the backs of the little guy. The tenants supported by the Center for Popular Democracy, the mothers, also the local eviction defense networks, will defend their homes through direct action, meaning they are not leaving if the bank comes to get rid of them. Or would it be the cops? I don't know. Diane Enriquez, Director of Campaigns for Community Dignity at the Center for Popular Democracy, said, "Our people are dying, and we are calling on government officials to put people over profits. It is about time." You can join that digital eviction defense rally hosted by the Center for Popular Democracy, Organize Florida, Alliance for Californians for Community Empowerment, CASA, and Action North Carolina. These are happening in those states, but also in other states. Also, a lot of the DSAs, the Democratic Socialists of America, local chapters are helping with, eviction protections. So dig in. You want to help folks, help each other. Find out how at populardemocracy.org. Thanks for watching. This is ACT TV. I'm Julianna Forlano.